All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this. It seemed like some bombshell audio just leaked that the Democrats did not want out. And we going to have a few flashbacks when you had people like Watermelon Head Adam Schiff and a lot of these Democrats, Good Morning Joe, all of these Democrats that was covering up Joe Biden's mental decline now that the audio is out. Because remember, they went after Robert Hur for pretty much saying that Joe Biden could remember anything. He didn't even know, he couldn't even remember the fact that his son had passed, just all type of stuff. And the audio just leaked proving that Robert Hur was telling the truth the entire time. And we already knew that Robert Hur was telling the truth, but the Democrats was the ones that was trying to cover it up. So that's the reason why you had a lot of people going after Robert Hur, calling him a liar, threatening him, and all type of stuff. But a 4-minute audio just leaked proving that he was right and that Joe Biden should have never been president in the first place. The man can't finish sentences, falling downstairs, don't know his way off stage, just all type of stuff. So let's go ahead and dive straight into this. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support, and shout out to the ones who always stay to the end and the ones that let me know in the comment section that you did watch the entire video. I really, really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. So let's start it off with here. We can all remember when Robert Hur pretty much saying that, hey, Joe Biden can remember anything. His memory is bad. This is him just right here, just explaining everything. So let's check out this clip right quick.
There has been a lot of attention paid to language in the report about the president's memory. So let me say a few words about that. My task was to determine whether the president retained or disclosed national defense information willfully. That means knowingly and with the intent to do something the law forbids. I could not make that determination without assessing the president's state of mind. For that reason, I had to consider the president's memory and overall mental state and how a jury likely would perceive his memory and mental state in a criminal trial. These are the types of issues that prosecutors analyze every day. And because these issues were important to my ultimate decision, I had to include a discussion of them in my report to the Attorney General. The evidence and the president himself put his memory squarely at issue. We interviewed the president and asked him about his recorded statement. Quote, "I just found all the classified stuff downstairs," end quote. He told us that he didn't remember saying that to his ghostwriter. He also said he didn't remember finding any classified material in his home after his vice presidency.
Wow.
And he didn't remember anything about how classified documents about Afghanistan made their way into his garage.
Wow.
My assessment in the report about the relevance of the president's memory was necessary and accurate and fair.
So that was Robert Hur when he first broke that. When he first broke that, of course, the Democrats went after him, calling him a liar. And you got people like Adam Schiff, Watermelon Head, pretty much saying, why did you bring this out? You shouldn't have made this public, Robert Hur. You shouldn't have never made it public that Joe Biden is don't know what he's doing. But when it came to Donald Trump, he was happy with what Jack Smith was doing. He was happy Jack Smith made that public and was going with it. So that's just how two-faced these people is. So listen to President Trump right here, because even President Trump pretty much just goes off, salute to Ben. He said, President Trump goes off on the cover-up of Biden's mental decline. I know people that are 89, 90, 92, 93 years old that are perfect. Joe is not one of them. You can't have a man in that condition and everybody was holding back. Listen to what President Trump said.
I know people that are 89, 90, 92, 93 years old that are literally perfect. But Joe was not one of them. And they did a lot of hiding. They were really playing games. And, you know, you can't do that. Our country's at stake. You see, even a thing like this, there's so many decisions for billions and billions, but then you have even more important decisions. You have decisions for life. And you can't have a man in that condition. And everybody was holding back, including the press.
Now, like President Trump, he said, everybody was holding back. And a lot of people always ask, like, President Trump, how do you do it? You know, for his age to be able to still, you know, get around the way he get around. The grueling schedule that he have, like he got to fly here, be there. And he's able to do it. Check out this.
It's a pretty grueling schedule. A lot of people said, how the hell do you do it?
By the way, how the hell do you do it?
I don't know. I think it's genetics. It's good genetics. I had a father who was very strong, and I had a mother.
Y'all see the difference between Joe Biden and President Trump? President Trump can get around. He's not falling off stages. He's not forgetting his words. He's not doing any of that. He's in perfect condition.
It was very strong. They lived to ripe old ages, and they were great people. And it's meeting after meeting. And not only that, it's speech after speech. It's not like big ones. Like last night, if you look, he got up and made a beautiful speech. Mohammed, he got up and made a beautiful speech. I wasn't told I even had a speech to make. So I had to make a speech off the cuff. Do you think Biden could do that? I don't think so. No. Actually, it was a pretty good speech, too. I looked at it. It was pretty good. I didn't know I was doing it. So, but, you know, it's meeting after meeting with the highest level people. These are great people. They love us again. They were not feeling love at all. They were going to China. They're not going to China anymore.
So now you see like the difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So we get to this, and I wanted to show y'all this because this right here is very important. And y'all remember when Joe Scarborough was pretty much going off on Robert Hur, pretty much calling him a liar, pretty much saying, why is you saying this about Joe Biden? Ain't nothing wrong with Joe Biden, Robert Hur. You was a liar. He went on a tantrum. Even his own wife beside him tried to tell him, hey, stop. So listen to this. He's a flashback. Joe Scarborough goes on a wild, profane rant defending Biden's cognitive state and defaming Robert Hur, accusing her of humiliating himself so Trump would give him a judgeship. Turns out the one who humiliated himself was Joe Scarborough again. So check this out. Look how mad this man was at Robert Hur. And come to find out, Robert Hur was telling the truth. We're going to play the audio at the end of this video, so y'all keep up with me. Stay tuned. Check this out.
I wonder what pasture he will walk off into.
I don't know.
Just kind of wander off and say, well, you know, in Joe Biden, I noticed he didn't really tie his tie well. The tie knot suggested that maybe he has arthritis in his left thumb.
Where are you going with this?
I'm just saying this guy says such random shit about
Joe, stop.
Stop. He's a kindly old man who could not remember his son's birthday. Like, he wandered off.
And we're finna play that in a few minutes. Now, y'all see how Joe Scarborough is just talking. Oh, you talking about Joe? Joe Biden said he couldn't remember his sons, passing. He can remember this. We got the audio. Stay tuned.
To a pasture here, and maybe Arnold the pig led him there. I don't know. No, you should apologize for her because
you shouldn't have asked.
I don't know exactly. Like, does he hope he gets a judgeship? I think he does. I think he hopes he gets a judgeship if Donald Trump gets elected again. He's trying out because he humiliated himself with that display.
So he humiliated himself. Says Joe Scarborough. You remember Joe Scarborough and his wife, the one who went and visited President Trump. We all remember that. So, and like townhall.com said, Robert Hur was telling the truth. Democrats and the media lied about this. They straight lied. They knew about this. We all seen it, especially when Donald Trump destroyed him in that debate. We all seen it. So look at this right here. With watermelon head ass Adam Schiff. Got the size of a head as a watermelon. Now look at this by Mays. He said, Adam Schiff, the details of Robert Hur's investigation into Biden should have not been made public. This is what Adam Schiff said. He's saying that Robert Hur's investigation into Biden should not have been made public. But when it came to President Trump, check this out. Adam Schiff, the public needs to read the details of Jack Smith's investigation into Trump. Look how two-faced that is. You don't want it for Joe Biden, but you do want it for Donald Trump. So check out this clown right here with the size of a damn watermelon head. Check out this clown.
You don't gratuitously do things to prejudice the subject of an investigation when you're declining to prosecute. You don't gratuitously add language that you know will be useful in a political campaign. You were not born yesterday. You understood exactly what you were doing. It was a choice. You certainly didn't have to include that language. You could have said vis-a-vis the documents that were found at the university, the president did not recall. There is nothing.
So you're going to try to tell that man what he should say. Adam Schiff, who are you? You can't tell that man what to say. You ain't his daddy. You ain't his granddaddy. You ain't no kin to him. How can you tell him what he should have said? And you sitting there with a head the size of a damn watermelon.
More common, you know this, I know this. There's nothing more common with a witness of any age when asked about events that are years old to say, I do not recall. Historically, these reports are made public. These reports and the investigation underlying them are funded with taxpayer dollars, and the public has a right to know. The Justice.
Oh, the public has a right to know when it comes to President Trump. You hear what he said? He's getting on Robert Hur for talking about the report on Joe Biden memory. But then when it came to what Jack Smith was doing to Donald Trump, the public has a right to know about this. Look how two-faced this clown is.
Department could not bring that offense to trial, not as against the main perpetrator in Donald Trump. If the Attorney General were to decide here to allow this report to be buried, the lack of justice would be followed with a lack of any kind of accountability, and the public ought to see it. The public got to read it. We should be aware of all the facts.
So we should be aware of all the facts. Now, y'all see how this clown is pretty much getting on to Robert Hur about what he did about Joe Biden. Then when it came to President Trump, the public has a right to know. The public has a right to know. We shouldn't hold no information back. The people need to know. But the people didn't need to know about Joe Biden, according to Adam Schiff. So this is just the clown stuff that I'm talking about right here. And this is what I was talking about. As you see right here, it say Adam Schiff raged at Robert Hur for daring to include an accurate assessment of Biden's cognitive condition in his report. The big lie about Biden's cognitive issues were carried out at all levels of the Democrat legacy media machine. Because remember, all of them was covering it up because they wanted to remain in power. And they knew if the American people knew about Joe Biden's cognitive decline, they was not going to vote for him. That's why they tried to cover it up. But it didn't work. Look at this.
What is in the rules, Mr. Hur, what is in the rules is you don't gratuitously do things to prejudice the subject of an investigation when you're declining to prosecute. You don't gratuitously add language that you know will be useful in a political campaign. You were not born yesterday. You understood exactly what you were doing. It was a choice. You certainly didn't have to include that language. You could have said vis-a-vis the documents that were found at the university, the president did not recall. There is nothing more common. You know this, I know this. There is nothing more common with a witness of any age when asked about events that are years old to say, I do not recall. Indeed, they're instructed by their attorney to do that if they have any question about it. You understood that. You made a choice. That was a political choice. It was the wrong choice.
It's a political choice, but look what these people been doing to President Trump, and he's sitting up here talking, it was a political choice. You should never did it. Like, this man is just a straight clown. That is where Adam Schiff is. He's the main one that need to be in jail because not only that, he's been hit with mortgage fraud, allegedly hit with mortgage fraud as well, and we're going to go over that. So he got bigger fish that the bigger problems he need to be worried about.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Arizona. Did special counsel wish to respond to that final question?
Yes, Congressman, what you are suggesting is that I shape, sanitize, omit portions of my reasoning and explanation of the Attorney General for political reasons.
No, I suggest that you not shape your report for political reasons, which is what you did.
That did not happen, Congressman. That did not happen.
So look how mad this boy, I'm finna say something. This dude is just insane. Look how he's looking. He is so mad. Like, these people want to remain in power so bad. Let's get to this audio that you see that Adam Schiff and the rest of the Democrats hid. He never said that he forgot about his son's death. He never said this. His memory wasn't bad. Let's check out that audio that everybody is talking about that these people are trying to cover up. So even if you see this right here by Libs of TikTok, he said, holy crap, audio of Robert Hur interview with then President Biden. He had no idea when his son died. Couldn't string together a sentence. Democrats and media cover up Biden's decline. This should be one of the biggest scandals in history. Then you go down to here to Clay Travis. He said, keeping Joe Biden in office was criminal. Listen to this Robert Hur audio with Biden. Good Lord. Remember, Biden tried to blame her for bringing up the Buell. It was clearly Biden himself who did. Biden had no idea what's going on here. Again, this is criminal. So let's check out this audio, shall we? Let's go.
So during this time when you were living in Chambers Road and there were documents related to the Penn Biden Center or the Biden or the cancer donor shot or your book, where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
Well, I don't know. This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. And so it was, and by the way, there were still a lot of people at the time when I got out of the Senate that were encouraging me to run in this period, except the president. That's not a mean thing to say. I mean, he just thought that she had a better shot of winning the presidency than I did. And so I hadn't at this point, even though I'm at Penn, I hadn't walked away from the idea that I might run for office again. If I ran again, I'd be running for president. And so what was happening though, what month did Bo die? May 3rd.
This is bad. My God.
2015 he died.
2015.
He's whispering to himself.
I'm not sure the months, but I think that was
Yeah.
That's right, Mr. President.
And what's happened in the meantime is that
he's just mumbling.
Trump gets elected in November of 2017? 2016.
Wow.
All right. So, why do I have 2017 here?
That's when you left office, in January of 2017.
Okay.
He didn't even know when he left office.
But that's when Trump gets sworn in.
Right.
January.
Right. Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And in 2017, Bo had passed, and this is personal. The genesis of the book and the title, Promise Me Dad, was I know you're all close with your sons and daughters, but Bo was like my right arm, and that was my left. These guys were a year and a day apart, and they could finish each other's sentences. And Bo, I used to go home on the train in the period that I was still in the Senate. Anyway, do you remember?
This is terrible. My God. He can't remember anything.
Pressure. Bo knew how much I adored him. And this sounds, maybe this sounds so, everybody knew how close we were. There was not anybody in the world who wondered whether or not,
Anyway.
And so,
Sir, I'm wondering if this is a good time to take a break. Briefly.
no, let me just keep going to get it done.
Wow. I mean, this right here was just terrible. This was terrible. He had no idea when his son died. Couldn't string together a sentence. Mumbling all over the place. Didn't even know when President Trump took office. He said, oh, he took office in 2017, right? No, he said 2016. Like this is one of the biggest scandals in history. So what do watermelon head Adam Schiff got to say about this? Because obviously Robert Hur was not lying. He was telling the truth. We all knew it, but the Democrats was the ones that were acting like they didn't know what was going on. But we did. So, I mean, this right here is terrible. And they did not want this audio out. Adam Schiff, the Democrats, they knew about this audio, but they didn't want it out. They was mad because Robert Hur spoke on it, and they knew he had the audio. So now with it being leaked, let's see Adam Schiff them talk about this. Let's see if you can call Robert Hur a liar now. It's not going to work. Joe Biden, he got away with it, but he ain't get away with it. Y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.